Trade Genius.
What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. Hope you had a great weekend. We're going into this week with a very cautious view of the markets. As we discussed, and I know we're talking about Bitcoin in particular and crypto markets, but we're so tied to the stock market right now. I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth about that, how things worked out over the weekend. But, we got to be careful that this relief rally, like we talked about last week in the stock market, doesn't roll over. Right now, I have a couple indicators that we have up. This profit ribbon, I'd like to just slap this on there with a setting of 20. Again, if you guys are signing up with the $2.99 special over at our website, we're going to throw this profit ribbon in as well, because really you can use this to day trade quite well. And now with the futures, you can get it started trading with a very low cost, low barrier of entry, I should say. So anyway, check that out. $2.99, that's a year with us in the room, so very economical. Anyway, rolling over is a big risk here. And you notice that on Friday, we kind of had that doji we talked about. And then today we're rolling over a little bit. And so my concern here is if we get another day down, if there's more follow through tomorrow, then this ribbon might twist and turn. So it's done a good job of marking the ebbs and flows of this market. And so that's something to key in on here. The other indicators, we had our sniper buy, which you'll get the sniper buy signal too if you sign up. But that one marked the start of the bounce here and it's carried through. But this has been very reminiscent so far of what we saw in the 2008 drop. And so we're going to see, critical. This week's very critical for this move here. If we do go higher, we will go and end up rating these moves up here. I think this area is fair game, especially the 618, 2934 area. No reason why if we take out this high, I think that's the next logical move. So covered some puts today for a nice gain. Now we're going to see what happens here as this shakes out. So overnight sessions now going forward are going to be important. Now looking at Bitcoin, this is a 30-minute chart. Now if you'll notice, this blue line is the S&P 500. So the market reopens on Sunday evening. This flat line here just means the market was closed. Bitcoin trades lower. Bitcoin's tied to the market. And I mentioned this in chat. I think market will trade lower today, Monday, because Bitcoin has been dumping down. And sure enough, we did. And then we also dumped again when the market reopened. The futures reopened Sunday evening. What happened was in the futures, they opened up higher and then dumped about 100 S&P points, roughly about 1,000 Dow points from the gap higher down. And then we opened, kind of stabilized, went up a little bit, and then opened the trading day. Technically a win for the bears, but wasn't anything real dramatic to the downside. So we'll see. We'll have to see if the equilibrium sways one way or another as this week progresses. But you'll notice Bitcoin still very reactive and actually was leading the market lower. And I would look for Bitcoin actually, in my opinion, I think Bitcoin, when given the chance, actually shows a little bit of a lead to the market. So if you see Bitcoin doing something, dumping or gaining, and the market hasn't reacted yet, watch for the market to catch up to that move. I think there's a bit of but they're completely correlated right now still. Today, again, we ended the day on a good note, running up into the close, and then Bitcoin has followed suit. So if we see weakness in the Globex tonight, the Globex session is the overnight session where the futures trade. And usually in the market, you're going to get the move that's going to happen. So if this move is going to roll over, we're going to start seeing selling overnight, and we'll see that reflected in the price of Bitcoin as well. So that being said, what I'm looking at on Bitcoin, now you'll notice the daily, again, this block here, proving to be difficult to get over. And we've had some pretty, the candle wicks on the dailies it's pretty whippy price action. So it's hard. A lot of people are getting stopped out and things like that. So I don't have a real definitive direction here. What I'd like to see is possibly if this market does roll over, on the stock market, we are going to see more downside. And so the areas I'm looking for a reaction, obviously here, this low volume node 65.27 or 65.30, we did come down to that level and bounce. The stochastics are starting to want to roll over. The next level would be the high volume node at 62.35. And then we have a low volume node at 56.83. And then we have another high volume node at 53.61. Unfortunately, all of this is still in play. I know the halving is coming, but unless we break away from the market, we have to respect the market, the stock market, and respect the fact that it's going to weigh down on the price of Bitcoin. So it's literally, this is like a day by day thing to see if the correlation is at all going to take a break. The other thing that I'm keeping an eye on is the Delta chart. Now that has gone and flipped short. We're back under the 200 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. And what I'm looking for is, essentially when it's in this mode, you're going to fade the moves to the moving averages. So any push up against the now this weighted moving average of 65 would be an area to look for short. So around 7K, which is also a nice, even round numbers. And you do have some resistance at that level. So that would be, according to the Delta indicator, that would be an area to short. And then I would be looking to see if we do get, again, if the stock market rolls over, we'd be looking at this 200 period moving average. So getting up into this area is going to get you a little bit into this low volume node. Would make sense to take a short there. So Delta heading lower is telling you that they are looking lower according to the futures activity. All right. So that's the Delta. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is we'll take a quick look at the virus statistics, and the virus statistics, essentially light at the end of the tunnel for when this whole bear market, because the economies are shut down until this resolves. Everything's still, pretty parabolic. We may be looking at a slight start of some flattening though, and that's good. Yesterday we had plus 27,000 in US, and looking at the US as kind of the leader now, obviously eclipsed the depths in Spain and Italy, although they had a lot higher mortality rate. But today, so far, we have 23,000. So we may reach yesterday's new case count. We are under the 30,000 threshold, which we were holding above there for a bit. So we may start seeing a bit of a slowdown. We'll have to keep tabs on that. But we, as far as the initial flare up, we're not seeing any other hotspots really flare up in the US. So hopefully this is the beginning of the flattening. We shall see. If so, maybe we can look at getting back to normal business end of May, but it's a lot of variables between now and then. But that, I think, is a best case scenario. Sometime in May, we can get back to some normalcy, but this has to keep dropping off day to day. All right, so there you have it, guys. Right now, stock market, we're kind of at the mercy of the stock market, and the play is rolling over to lower on the stock market. Tomorrow will be a crucial day. Basically from this point going forward this week, crucial as far as what we can expect these markets to do. Again, taking out the high of Friday on the market, the S&P 500 will be crucial. And we do that, we're going to see Bitcoin move up, and we're going to get into that 8,000 range. That especially if the S&P 500 can push into the 2,900, I think you'll see a nice move up in Bitcoin as well. So there you have it. We'll give you an update on the next video as the market develops. Thanks, guys, for watching. Look forward to seeing you guys in the room. Get those free indicators. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.